In the opening scene, our protagonist talks about trash games, pointing out that they are often unfun, lack balance between characters, or suffer from poor mechanics. However, there is another instance of trash games, those with hellish difficulty levels. The virtual reality game The Tower of Trials is a prime example of this. When the game was released, Korean gamers, whose passion was conquering games faster than the developers anticipated, began grinding through the Tower of Trials, often forgoing sleep and food for an entire year. However, by the end of 3 years, players came to the sobering realization that the game was impossible to complete. No exaggeration here. For instance, the gate guardian who protects the 10th floor is truly invincible. Additionally, the 7th floor is set in a polar region with temperatures plunging to minus 60 degrees, which drains players' HP and can freeze them to death within an hour. On the 8th floor, players are confronted with a labyrinth covering over 10,000 square kilometers. This experience is not enjoyable, it's simply a form of torture. As a result, the game nearly crashed and was almost ruined. Despite that, only a few pro gamers dared to take on the hell difficulty. Jinhyuk Kang was one of them, grinding through every challenge until he reached the very end. After devoting 11 years of his life, our protagonist finally completes the game. A system message popped up. You have conquered the 50th floor. Congratulations, you are the first person to clear the Tower of Trials. Jinhyuk let out a deep sigh of relief, overwhelmed with a whirlwind of emotions. For him, it was simply a thrilling experience. Reflecting on the countless hours spent researching unknown strategies to conquer the tower and repeating them over and over until they became second nature, a deep sense of pride washed over Jinhyuk. He had done something truly difficult and worthwhile. He still couldn't believe he had actually cleared the game. Once his thoughts settled, Jinhyuk realized he should have streamed this moment online or perhaps uploaded his accomplishment to YouTube. A system window popped up, thanking the player for sticking with the game until the very end. Another window appeared, informing the player, "A reboot update is scheduled in 12 hours. Please continue to enjoy the game after the update." The news caught Jinhyuk off guard. He couldn't believe the game was getting an update, especially after all the financial losses it had suffered. Did the administrators strike oil in the middle of a desert or something? He wondered sarcastically. After logging out of the game, the protagonist reflected on his situation. He realized it was time to quit his career as a gamer and live streamer. When he had started, he was just 17, full of ambition. But now, at 27, he could no longer survive on the meager income he earned from gaming and streaming.
That night, Jinhyuk was doing a mukbang livestream, laughing and chatting with his viewers. Everything was going smoothly until his expression suddenly grew serious. He addressed his audience, saying he had something important to announce. But as the comments started flooding in, he hesitated, stopping mid-sentence. With a casual shrug, he brushed off the topic and continued the stream. In the back of his mind, he decided he'd make the announcement tomorrow. About quitting for good. After finishing the live stream, the protagonist decided to get some good sleep. The next morning, he woke up with a headache and remembered his plan to upload the video of him clearing the 50th floor of Tower of Trials. However, when he checked the news, he was shocked to see the headline, "The Tower of Trials becomes reality." Jinhyuk couldn't believe his eyes. How is this even possible? He thought in disbelief. Desperate for answers, he opened the live chat of the broadcast. On the screen, a massive tower loomed over the heart of Seoul, its shadow stretching across the city. It was unmistakably the Tower of Trials, now towering over reality. The YouTuber reported that Melon Watermelon, the top global organizations, had officially confirmed that the mysterious structure was indeed the Tower of Trials. As he spoke, he suddenly paused and looked up, as if sensing something ominous. At that moment, the screen began to turn red, casting an eerie glow over the broadcast. The tension in the air was palpable. Something was happening. Jinhyuk couldn't believe what he was witnessing. The scene felt all too familiar. It was the same omen that had appeared when he first played Tower of Trials. Memories flooded back, and a chill ran down his spine as he realized that what had once been a game was now unfolding in reality. A status window opened before everyone, including Jin-hyuk. The message read, Tower of Trials Reboot Version. The first update has been completed. All players must clear the next floor of the tower within 90 days. Failure to do so will result in the extinction of humanity. Panic erupted in the chat as the weight of the message sank in, and Jin-hyuk's heart raced. This was no longer just a game, it was a dire challenge that could affect everyone. Just like that, the game had become a reality. Jin-hyuk was momentarily confused, but he quickly gathered his thoughts. If the Tower of Trials had manifested into the real world, he couldn't afford to hesitate. He needed to act fast. Determined, Jin-hyuk rose from his chair, which rattled beneath him and toppled over with a loud crash.